You think you're helping your plants, but you're probably killing them. It's a common misconception among even the most well-meaning plant parents. You diligently water your beloved fiddle leaf fig or peace lily, believing you're providing life-sustaining hydration. But often, without realizing it, your daily ritual of giving them a drink is actually setting them on a path to irreversible decline. This insidious process doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual, silent destruction from the inside out, slowly. Let's expose the 7 deadliest watering mistakes you don't even know you're making. It's time to pull back the curtain on the silent killers lurking in your gardening routine. Many enthusiastic gardeners, from absolute beginners to seasoned hobbyists with a jungle of monstera and succulents, fall victim to these common pitfalls. These aren't just minor missteps, they are fundamental errors that can lead to irreversible damage, costing you precious time, effort, and your beloved botanical companions. Let's expose the 7 deadliest watering mistakes you don't even know you're making, starting with a classic error. Mistake number 1, the drowning. You're watering way too often. Picture this. You see a slightly droopy leaf on your pothos or prayer plant, and your immediate instinct is to reach for the watering can, thinking it's thirsty. But consistently drenching the soil every day, or even every other day, regardless of actual need, is a grave error. This relentless saturation, especially common with plants like succulents that store water, means the soil never gets a chance to truly dry out. Mistake number 1, the drowning. You're watering way too often. Their roots can't breathe, leading to the dreaded root rot. When the soil is perpetually waterlogged, all the tiny air pockets, crucial for gas exchange, become completely filled with water. This suffocates the plant's delicate root system, depriving them of the oxygen they desperately need to absorb nutrients and function properly. Imagine trying to breathe underwater yourself. It's a similar struggle for the plant's subterranean network. This oxygen deprivation leads directly to the dreaded root rot, a fungal infection that attacks weakened roots, turning them into a putrid mess. It's a silent, mushy death. The fix? Let the top 2 inches of soil dry out completely. Root rot often goes unnoticed until it's too late, manifesting as yellowing leaves, stunted growth, or a sudden collapse of the entire plant. When you finally pull it from the pot, the roots, instead of being firm and white, are black, slimy, and emit a foul, earthy odor. It's a silent, mushy death, a grim end for your plant. The fix? Before reaching for that watering can again, let the top 2 inches of soil dry out completely. For a larger pot, this might even be 3 or 4 inches, ensuring those roots get their vital breath of air. Mistake number 2, the ice bath. You're using cold water versus warm water, freezing cold tap water. Many of us, in a hurry, simply fill a watering can directly from the kitchen tap, not giving a second thought to the water's temperature. But that sudden rush of near-freezing water, especially if it's been sitting in pipes during a cold winter night, is a shock to the system for your sensitive houseplant. Think about how you'd react to an unexpected plunge into an icy pool. Mistake number 2, the ice bath. You're using cold water versus warm water, freezing cold tap water, often straight from the municipal supply, and it's doing more harm than good. This shocks the plant's root system, stunting its growth. When those delicate roots are suddenly hit with a blast of cold, their metabolic processes, which are finely tuned to ambient room temperatures, slow dramatically. It's like putting a sudden brake on all their essential functions. The plant expends valuable energy trying to re-regulate its internal temperature rather than focusing on photosynthesis or developing new leaves. This metabolic disruption severely shocks the plant's root system, leading to a noticeable stunting of its overall growth, making it look weak and struggling, often with smaller, paler foliage. The temperature difference is just too much for them to handle. But the next mistake is one even pros make. Most tropical houseplants, like your beloved Monstera deliciosa or Calathea, thrive in consistently warm, humid environments, similar to their native rainforest floors, where water is naturally temperate. A sudden drop of 10–15 degrees Fahrenheit from room temperature to icy tap water signals extreme stress. It can cause cellular damage, inhibit water uptake, and even lead to leaf drop as the plant tries to conserve energy. The temperature difference is just too much for them to handle, making them vulnerable. But the next mistake is one even pros make, often without even realizing the subtle damage it causes. Mistake number 3, the robot schedule. Watering every Saturday at 10 a.m.? Big mistake. We love routine, and it's tempting to apply that same predictability to our plant care. Perhaps you've marked it on your calendar, water plants, Saturday, 10 a.m. You dutifully grab your watering can, making your rounds, giving each plant the same measured amount of water, regardless of what it's telling you. This rigid set-it-and-forget-it approach ignores the dynamic nature of living organisms. Mistake number 3, the robot schedule. Watering every Saturday at 10 a.m., like clockwork, might seem efficient, but it's a big mistake for your plant's health. Your plant's needs change with the season, light, and humidity. Think about it. During the long, bright days of summer, a plant basking in direct sunlight will transpire much more water, drying out its soil quickly. Conversely, in the dim, short days of winter, especially indoors with lower light levels, that same plant will use significantly less. Humidity also plays a huge role. A dry indoor environment from heating systems will demand more frequent watering than a naturally humid bathroom. Your plant's needs change dramatically with the season, the intensity of available light, and the fluctuating humidity levels in your home. So stop watching the calendar and start watching your plant. Instead of blindly adhering to a human-made schedule, cultivate a relationship with your plants. They are constantly communicating their needs if only you know how to listen. Look for visual cues. Are the leaves starting to slightly droop, feeling a bit limp, or losing their usual vibrant sheen? Is the pot feeling noticeably lighter than usual? These are direct signals that your plant is actually thirsty. So stop watching the calendar and start watching your plant. It's the most accurate indicator you'll ever have. The best tool for checking? Your own finger. Seriously. Forget expensive moisture meters that can often give unreliable readings or get damaged easily. The most reliable, readily available, and completely free tool for assessing soil moisture is literally at your fingertips. Gently insert your index finger about 2 to 3 inches deep into the soil, near the base of the plant, but avoiding major roots. Feel around. Is it cool and damp? Then wait. Is it dry, crumbly, and doesn't cling to your finger? Then it's probably time. The best tool for checking? Your own finger. Seriously, it's the gold standard for gauging a plant's true thirst. Mistake number 4, the leaf shower. You're splashing water all over the leaves. It seems intuitive, right? A gentle shower for your plant, mimicking natural rainfall. You might even think you're cleaning dust off the foliage of your orchid or African violet, giving them a refreshing rinse. But when you pour water haphazardly from above, letting it cascade over every leaf and stem, you're creating a prime environment for trouble. This isn't a refreshing spa treatment for most plants. Mistake number 4, the leaf shower. You're splashing water all over the leaves, and what looks like a harmless act is actually a dangerous invitation. This is an open invitation for nasty fungal diseases. Fungi, microscopic organisms that thrive in damp, stagnant conditions, absolutely adore prolonged moisture on plant leaves. When water droplets sit on foliage for extended periods, especially in low light or poor air circulation, common conditions indoors, it creates a perfect breeding ground. These water beads provide the ideal humidity and surface for fungal spores, which are always present in the air, to germinate and spread. This is an open invitation for nasty fungal diseases, ready to attack your plant's vulnerable tissues. Things like powdery mildew absolutely love damp foliage. Take powdery mildew, for instance. It appears as a white, powdery coating on leaves and stems, eventually weakening the plant and hindering photosynthesis. Or consider leaf spot diseases, which manifest as unsightly brown or black lesions that can quickly spread and defoliate a plant entirely. Even common rust fungi will readily set up shop on consistently wet leaves, producing orange or reddish-brown pustules. Things like powdery mildew, leaf spot, and rust absolutely love damp foliage, turning your plant into a fungal buffet if you're not careful with your watering technique. It creates the perfect breeding ground for problems. The solution is simple. Aim for the soil, not the leaves. Leaving water on the leaf surfaces, especially in the tight crevices of plants like African violets or succulents, prolongs the moisture, preventing quick evaporation. This consistent dampness significantly lowers the plant's natural defenses against pathogens. It creates the perfect breeding ground for problems, from unsightly spots to full-blown infections that can devastate your entire indoor garden. The solution is simple and straightforward. When you water, direct the flow carefully and precisely, aiming solely for the soil surface around the base of the plant, not the leaves or crown. Mistake 5, the death pool. Your stylish pot has 0 drainage holes. We've all been there. You spot a gorgeous ceramic pot or a sleek, modern planter that perfectly matches your home decor, it looks fantastic, but you forget to check one critical feature, or perhaps you intentionally overlook it for aesthetic reasons. This beautiful, seemingly perfect container, whether it's a decorative cachepot or a fancy glazed ceramic, is a death trap if it lacks proper escape routes for excess water. Mistake 5. The death pool. Your stylish pot has zero drainage holes, sealing your plant's fate from the moment you place it inside. Water sits at the bottom, creating a swamp. Without any drainage holes, every drop of water you pour into that pot has nowhere to go once it saturates the soil. Gravity pulls the excess downwards, and it simply accumulates at the very bottom of the container, directly beneath the plant's root ball. This creates a perpetually saturated, anaerobic environment, a literal puddle of standing water that never evaporates or drains away. Water sits at the bottom, creating a swamp, an utterly inhospitable and toxic marsh for any terrestrial plant trying to survive. This is root rot's favorite vacation spot. In that stagnant, oxygen-deprived pool, beneficial soil microbes die off, and harmful anaerobic bacteria and fungi flourish unchecked. The warm, damp, dark conditions are precisely what the most destructive pathogens, particularly those responsible for fungal root rot, require to multiply rapidly. Once they establish themselves in this prime real estate, they quickly begin to break down the plant's precious root tissues. This is root rot's favorite vacation spot, a guaranteed breeding ground for the very disease that will swiftly and mercilessly claim your plant's life. Your plant's roots are literally suffocating in stagnant water. To reiterate the severity of the situation, roots, just like us, need oxygen to survive and perform their vital functions, such as absorbing water and nutrients from the soil. When they are submerged in standing water, those crucial air pockets in the soil are completely eliminated. It's no longer a gentle, moist environment. It's a liquid prison. Your plant's roots are literally suffocating in stagnant water, unable to respirate, unable to take in what they need, and consequently, the entire plant slowly but surely starts to shut down. The only way out is a pot with proper drainage, period. There's no fancy trick, no special soil mix, and no amount of careful watering that can overcome the fundamental flaw of a pot without drainage. You can try adding a layer of pebbles at the bottom, but that's a myth. It only raises the water table, not eliminating the problem. The only way out of this guaranteed death sentence for your plant is a pot with proper drainage, meaning at least one, but ideally several, holes at the base, allowing all excess water to freely escape. Period. It's non-negotiable for plant survival. But even with the perfect pot, you could be making this next crucial error. So, you've invested in a beautiful terracotta pot with ample drainage holes, you're checking the soil with your finger, and you're using room temperature water. You might feel like you've mastered the art of watering, ready to nurture a thriving indoor garden. However, even with all these best practices in place, there's a subtle yet incredibly damaging pattern many plant enthusiasts fall into, one that can undo all your good intentions. But even with the perfect pot, you could be making this next crucial error, a mistake that creates extreme stress for your green companions. Mistake 6, the drought and flood cycle. You forget to water for weeks, then drown it to compensate. Life gets busy. You travel for a week, or simply get caught up in your daily routine, and your plant slips your mind. Days turn into a week, then two, and suddenly your once perky fern or vibrant peace lily is drooping dramatically, its leaves crisping at the edges. Overwhelmed with guilt, you then decide to make up for lost time by giving it a massive, prolonged drenching, hoping to revive it instantly. Mistake 6, the drought and flood cycle. You forget to water for weeks, letting the soil become bone dry. Then drown it to compensate, swinging wildly between extremes. This extreme inconsistency sends your plant into a state of shock. Imagine going from severe dehydration to suddenly being force-fed gallons of water. That's essentially what this erratic watering pattern does to your plant. The roots, after struggling to find any moisture in parched soil, are then suddenly inundated, struggling to adapt to the sudden change in osmotic pressure. This abrupt shift from desert-like conditions to a boggy environment is incredibly taxing. This extreme inconsistency sends your plant into a state of shock, disrupting its cellular functions and making it incredibly vulnerable to further stress and disease. It stresses the roots and can cause leaves to yellow and drop. Consistency is key. create a routine based on the plant's needs. Beyond the immediate shock, this seesaw effect severely stresses the delicate root hairs, which are responsible for most of the water and nutrient uptake. Over time, it can lead to permanent damage, inhibiting the plant's ability to recover. You'll notice visible signs like widespread yellowing of the lower leaves, sudden leaf drop, and a general lack of vigor as the plant sacrifices older foliage to cope. It stresses the roots and can cause leaves to yellow and drop. Consistency is key. Create a routine based on the plant's specific needs, aiming for stable moisture levels, not drastic fluctuations. Mistake 7, the surface sip. You're only watering from the top. For many, watering involves simply pouring a small amount of water onto the very top layer of soil until it looks wet. It feels sufficient, and you might even see a little bit of water trickle out the bottom, leading you to believe the job is done. But this superficial approach rarely provides deep, thorough hydration, especially for larger plants or those with dense root balls. Mistake 7, the surface sip. You're only watering from the top, giving your plant just a shallow drink that barely penetrates the surface. This often means the water runs down the sides, never reaching the deep roots. The core of the root ball stays bone dry. Over time, dry soil can become hydrophobic, meaning it actively repels water. When you pour water quickly onto a parched surface, it often channels itself down the easiest path, usually the gap between the soil and the pot's interior walls, bypassing the main root system entirely. This often means the water runs down the sides, escaping through the drainage holes without ever truly soaking the central mass of soil where the majority of the crucial feeder roots reside. The core of the root ball stays bone dry, leaving your plant perpetually thirsty despite your efforts. Instead, try bottom watering. Let the plant soak up what it needs from a tray. You are now a watering master. Your green friends will thank you for it. To ensure a truly deep and even soak, place your potted plant, with its drainage holes, into a larger tray or basin filled with about 2 to 3 inches of room temperature water. Allow it to sit for 20–30 minutes, or until the topsoil feels damp. The plant will absorb water upwards through capillary action, hydrating the entire root ball thoroughly and efficiently. Instead, try bottom watering. Let the plant soak up what it needs from a tray. You are now a watering master, equipped with the knowledge to nurture truly thriving plants. Your green friends will thank you for it with vibrant growth and lush foliage.